Oh man, come on. We supposed to have the all-star lineup on there, man. It might be good though. I can't knock it before we get into it, man. It might be good. We got Greg on that bad boy. We got to have the all-star lineup, y'all, when it comes to the five, man, when it comes to topics like this, man. You got to have that conflict of interest lineup too, man. I'm telling you. They react to the Kamala Harris CNN disaster interview, man, and everybody's mad. Even CNN turned against her. Boy, people are not happy. Her voters are not happy, man. You know, but there are some people out there that believe she needs to be near a White House still. Boy, you know, they blame Trump for everything. Out of the 12 out of the 16 years, we blame Trump for everything, you know. But hey, the coconut has fallen out the coconut tree. What can be unburdened from when it was burdened on next Thursday, then it was burdened back to Friday, and then it came back on the weekend, and it was back of unburdened. I don't know, man. I don't know how people are casting a vote for that. And I don't want to tell that fella, we don't want his tampon. We don't want his tampon. We don't want your failed economic plan. Millions of people are struggling and dying right now. But hey, illegals, $150,000, 0% down. Sounds good, doesn't it? Free healthcare, free food, homeless veterans on the street, people struggling, dying. I'm telling y'all, man, it's a lot of y'all that should be boiling hot right now, slapping the face to the taxpayers. And I know y'all seen that tax proposal. Oh boy, I'm telling you, the middle class people, we are. If we let that into office, I'm just saying. I just want to be real with y'all. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it, but I want to tell you, Project 2025, all that other stuff they done lied about, that's a Trump presidency, it's a lie. As you can see, if you haven't done your research, it's all been a lie, a scam. You know, there's a reason why they say Trump is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to their corrupt system. It's corrupt. The Trump campaign, the Trump team is fighting a corrupt system. We're not against a candidate. We're against a machine. If you haven't realized. And it has to be too big to rig, man. So we encourage everybody to go out and vote, y'all. Now, enough of me talking. I done talked too much. I've been seeing comments lately saying, Rick, please shut up. I love when you talk, but you've been talking way too much lately. You know, so just go and get into it. But the five reacts to the Kamala Harris CNN interview. And I got to see that. I really just want to see what Greg had to say. Because lately, Greg has been knocking it out the ballpark. He been hitting on them. You know, the brother Greg. Shout out to brother Greg, man. I know a lot of y'all still watch Fox News because of Greg. You know, he keep those ratings up. I'm just saying. But we do not have that all-star lineup on the five today, y'all. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'll be looking for that all-star lineup, man. People that's going to keep it real. You know, it's a couple on here that keep it real, but I'm just saying, you know, that all-star lineup with Judge Janine, you know, Jessica Tarloff, bring that, you know, completely clueless, Trump deranged, making excuses for everything. You know, everybody wants her fired. Yeah, she keeps everything. She keeps that conflict of interest. Yeah. But let's go and check it out, man. This is the disaster interview after 40 days. And she brings on her runner mate. Can't do her interview by herself. Pre-taped, pre-recorded. You just can't make this crap up, man. You just can't make it up.
Nearly 40 days of silence leading up to 26 total minutes of airtime in an interview last night for Vice President Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz. They sat down with CNN for their first big media interview since replacing Biden on the Democratic ticket. Harris claimed her values have not changed. This when she was pressed on why she is done and about face on some major voter issues like fracking.
Have not changed. Now she wants to build the border wall. Now she wants no tax on tips, huh? And you see, Trump just released a new policy, beautiful, you know, for the IVF treatments. You know, we want more babies. And insurance is offering they're going to offer free treatments. I mean, that is huge. I wonder how long until she takes that policy. Tomorrow she's probably going to make blue mega hats. Boy, I tell you, you can't make this up, man. My bad, y'all. I know y'all don't like when I interrupt. I apologize. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Pressed on why she has done an about-face on some major voter issues like fracking. Take a listen.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed.
Well, Harris's Fracking 180 providing a roll the tape moment for us here. Watch what she actually said during the 2020 campaign.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact.
The other big interview moments last night involved the man that she replaced on the top of the Democratic ticket. That's obviously President Biden. Harris defended their joint record together in office, especially when it comes to the economy and the border. She also revealed whether she had any regrets about vouching for the president amid all the concern about his fitness for office. Watch this.
You insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment and disposition that I think the American people rightly deserve in their president.
You raised your hand.
I'm so sick of her words, man. I'm so sick of it. You know, I'm so sick of these words. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick. Disposition. I'm sick. And I'm telling you, got to be to go cast for this ticket, man. To believe in this ticket, you got to be. I know Trump hurt y'all feelings, man, but still. I know some of y'all is Trump deranged and some of y'all is on stage 4 and ain't no coming back. But man, please. Can y'all at least wake up and see this? Just for the ones that were going for this, that you just wake up and see, well, at least, you know what, I'm not voting this year. Because boy, we are in trouble, man. We are. If they some way allow this back, I'm telling you, man. We won't have a country. I'm just saying, we won't have a country, man. People are going, look what's going on now. And world leaders, people, we're a laughing stock. People are laughing at us. I ain't lying to you. I want my tax dollars back. And if they allow to rig this thing up, I promise y'all right now, I ain't paying no more taxes. Some of y'all don't even pay taxes anymore. I done read some of the comments in the comment section. Some of them beautiful patriots stopped paying taxes last year. I ain't lying. Yeah, some of them beautiful patriots stopped paying taxes last year.
And asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. I'm the only person
who
has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings.
You have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
There's more to do, but that's good work.
All right, let's take it out to the table. Greg, after this obviously highly anticipated 40 days in the works interview last night, a long form interview.
We're going with Greg first. Let's go. Yeah, they know they don't got their all-star lineup tonight. They don't have their all-star lineup, y'all. That's why they got to go to Greg first. You know what I'm saying? We got to go to the heavy hitter 3-point shooter first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
26 minutes, but that might be the longest we hear from her before the election or before the debates anyway. I think the important question for folks to ask themselves coming out of it is what I'm going to ask you right now, which is, what is Kamala Harris's vision for the country, and what does she stand for?
It's like the media equivalent of constipation. You know, there was just anticipating, nothing happens. They needed some fiber, you know, Metamucil. It was not interesting. I felt like I'd stumbled into a parent-teacher conference and their kid was Joe Biden, and they had to like tiptoe around the fact that Joey's older than everybody else, but can't do anything. It was 20 minutes that felt like 200. They took like the most anticipated interview in 40 days, and it felt like a stale bag of nuts from a vending machine. I was nonplussed. That was the point. The goal here was a controlled demolition. You know, limit the damage to 18 minutes, 4 topics. So she didn't like score a point. She didn't get a hit. But she also didn't pull a Biden, and that's all they could hope for. This was safer than a condom in a convent. The thing that really bugged me, though, and the big issue, the no follow-up. All right, so she asked Harris.
Well, on the one question, there was some follow-up.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah. When they asked Harris about her role in lying to the American people about Joe's mental state, and they couched it. Dana Bash couched it as, do you regret telling the American people he was strong? And of course, Harris took the word regret and made it not about lying to America, but about serving Biden. Of course, she has no regrets working with Joe Biden, but that wasn't the effing question. It was, do you regret lying to America? And there was no follow up to that. It's amazing that in the last 2 weeks, Trump's done like 5+ hours worth of interviews. They couldn't manage to do 20 minutes of transparency. It was just a fog of platitudes and evasive pivots. It wasn't just horrible. It wasn't enough to be horrible. There wasn't enough. It was lifeless. It was dead. It felt like it was in a conference room at the Days Inn. It was like a deposition. It was just, there was nothing there.
So to Greg's point about her answer when it comes...
I'm so glad they started off with Greg, bro. But it's just right. This week, these past 2 weeks alone, they've done like, 20, 30 hours worth of interviews. Sit down. Tim, JD Vance. You know, you can't make this stuff up, man. They're not ducking, dodging, sitting in corners. You know? We tell y'all, they should have just kept their puppet hidden, man. They should have just kept their puppet hidden. It's all gonna come out, man. Yeah. It's all gonna come out, you guys. You cannot make this stuff up, man. And I'm so glad Greg brought that up, man. He hit everything on the nail. You know? A bag of stale peanuts in a vending machine. God damn! Yay! What them Patriots know about them peanuts? Oh, them Patriots got nut allergies. Yeah, y'all got them nut allergies. Yeah, get that out of here.
To vouching for President Biden, David Axelrod over on CNN actually liked her answer. He gave her kudos for it. Take a listen to what he said.
Who cares about him?
She didn't run away from him. She gave him, I think, his due. She understands that there's some political risk to that. That actually was elevating to me in a way that I hadn't expected. So I think on the whole, this was a good night. It wasn't a huge, I don't think she moved the ball that much forward, but she certainly didn't fall back.
Eugene Levy.
So elevating in a way he hadn't expected. What do you think about that, Kennedy?
I kind of agree with Greg here. Who pulled his chain? And I don't think her stance on Joe Biden is particularly difficult to answer. And I don't think it's particularly important. No one really cares about Joe Biden at this point. Joe Biden doesn't seem to care about Joe Biden. He doesn't care about governing the country. So, you know, sure, she can shellac his presidency all that she needs to. And I do think the question could have been phrased better. You know, when did you know that the president was in decline? decline? Because she did know. Everyone knew. We all knew, and we weren't the last person in the room, which was how she phrased it when she was talking about their horrible Afghanistan withdrawal plan. She was the last person with Joe Biden. So the point of that was, I know him best. I sit with him the longest. So if that's the case, then she would have known first that there was something really, really wrong with him. And she had promised the American people. Remember when Anderson Cooper actually pressed her after that horrific debate? And she promised people, if there was something wrong with Joe Biden, I would be the one to say something. And it's like, well, why didn't you say something then? Why didn't you talk with some of your colleagues about the 25th Amendment? Maybe because she knew this plan was in place. And if she sat there and answered the questions like a good little warrior, that she would be rewarded with the nomination. No one would stand in her way. Not Joe Biden, not the Obamas, not Josh Shapiro, not Gavin Newsom. And the whole thing would be hers without any pushback at all. That was a deal that she made with the devil, and she signed it in her own blood red ink.
So part of the problem for her, Emily, is that she was trying to, like, I hate the expression thread the needle, but I guess she was trying to thread the needle where it's like...
It always has to be about sewing, right? Because she's a woman.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, it's sexist. But she's trying to say, I fully support everything he's done. I stand by our record the last 3.5 years, but it's also time to turn the page. It's two opposite directions.
Right,
you can't really do both things.
Right. I felt like it was like when you watch spouses that are fighting, and when they're fighting, then it's your child just did this today. But when they're united, it's, oh, look, honey, Billy got straight A's, right? Our son is so amazing. She's clearly trying to divert herself from the administration only when it serves her. And the sheer volume of those flip-flops for Dana Bash not to press her further and say, well, talk to me about this evolution. How exactly have you changed, and why? That's the whole point. People have excused it on the left by saying, well, every politician flip-flops, not this much and not this heavily. So why, as someone who's so committed to these values that clearly run the entire gamut, I was so sorely underwhelmed, Greg. I agree with you. This is a prosecutor. Well, she likes to remind us, not only is this our sitting vice president, this was a senator and the attorney general and more. She wanted to remind us that she did not deserve sneakers on the cover of Vogue, that because she was vice president, she should have been in heels. She declined meeting with the spouses of all the leaders of foreign nations because she said at the G7 summit, no, I'm the vice president. I command respect. I won't meet with the spouses. And now here we are led to believe she can't even conduct an interview solo. She can't formulate thoughts. She was clearly totally unprepared, except for her pull the chain comments that she likes to repeat. And otherwise, there was zero command of knowledge, information, and experience that you would expect out of someone who's been in the White House for 4 years and who wants to be there for another 4 years at the top.
We're going to get into Governor Walz in the next block a bit, but I just want to ask you, Joey, because there was so much criticism of him joining this interview before it took place. Everyone, sort of coming down hard, Republicans certainly, and saying she should have handled this one solo. So now that we have seen the interview, do you think it was the right call for him to be there or not?
I have no idea why he was there, other than maybe to make her look smarter and more intelligent or more eloquent in her speech. I don't know. The things he did say, we'll talk about later. But just to go back to her interview, listen, the point of this interview wasn't to get her answers on record. It was to offer her an opportunity to correct the record, to make it all smooth out so she doesn't have to be questioned about it again. When they came back from the first commercial break, they literally ran the intro to the second segment was an ad for Kamala Harris, and in there was a clip from Trump when he went to the organization of black journalists, and sitting there getting drilled. The very first question: are you racist? And the irony in that is that they only had that clip of Trump because he will sit down and answer questions from anyone. He doesn't, he's not afraid, he won't back down. She gave more details about the breakfast that she supposedly had when she was told that Biden was dropping out than any policy they asked her. I mean, the only numbers or facts I could find, I took notes for the part of the interview I watched. I eventually went back to college football. But she said, hey, $10,000 tax credit, that's cool. J.D. Vance wants to do, or $6,000 tax credit, that's cool. J.D. Vance wants to do 10. And then she said, we're going to give you $25,000 so you can buy a house that costs twice as much as it did last year. And tell me how that's a good deal. But we know about bacon and pancakes and puzzles and all the other horse crap that she threw in there that I don't believe any of it.
Real quick before we go to break, I don't
Hey.
even know if we have time for this, but Brian Yanis nabbed an interview with President Trump, the first one, after last night. Here's his take on the debate. Excuse me, on the interview.
I think it was not exactly a great performance. It was a low energy performance. To take all of that time and get ready for that kind of an interview, it was a softball interview. I really think that probably, if you look at it, it was not considered a big success. If you go by the reviews, it was considered much less than a success.
All right, coming up, VP Harris was not the only one in the hot seat last night. Governor Tim Walz, as we just mentioned, was there. He was finally asked about some accusations about stolen valor, about his record. We're going to get into that next.
Tampon, Tim. Tampon. Throw your tampon out the window. Unbelievable, man. But y'all don't know what y'all think of that, man. We're calling it for what it is, you guys. And again, man, we need common sense back. We got to save America. We are against a corrupt system, a corrupt machine, man. We are not against a candidate, you know, and it has to be too big to rig, you guys. I love y'all, man, and it's time for a change. We got to turn this thing around, or at least start the process, man. You know, because with that right there, I'm telling you, we are. You know, we cannot have. We cannot do another 4 years. We probably won't even have another 4 years. I'm telling you, we got to. It has to be too big to rig, man. You know. But I really love Greg's take on this whole segment. I'm so glad they started off with him. You know. But let me know what y'all think. Comment down below. Love y'all. And I will catch you beautiful patriots, my brothers and sisters, in the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.